All right, let's dive into this Astro platform. We've got a whole stack of stuff to go through, blog posts, the technical docs, even some real-world examples of how this thing's being used. And this is exciting stuff because we're going to see how this platform is already changing things up for businesses, wrestling with those cloud challenges.
Yeah, and it's coming at a pretty crucial time, wouldn't you say? Gartner's predicting that by 2025, over 95% of new digital workloads will be on these cloud-native platforms. It's a huge jump. I mean, just think about it, only 30% back in 2021.
95%, wow. I mean, so if you're working with digital products, services, anything like that, chances are you're going to be right in the thick of the cloud, like way sooner than you think. But what kind of problems are businesses running into with this whole cloud explosion?
Well, just think about how many different tools and platforms you need to manage, right? You've got all the different cloud providers, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. And then there's Kubernetes for container orchestration, and then all the other tools for monitoring security deployments. It gets overwhelming, I mean, really fast.
Yeah, it's like trying to spin plates, but all the plates are on fire. So that's where Astro Platform comes in, trying to bring all these different parts of cloud management together under one roof.
Yeah, exactly. Astro Platform is all about streamlining that whole process. Imagine having just one unified service instead of all these different tools and platforms.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. So how does this whole simplification thing actually work? What's the secret sauce behind Astro Platform?
It's a mix of things, really. Intuitive design, automation, strong integration, all that good stuff. They're really focused on making application deployment smoother, Kubernetes cluster configuration less painful, and multi-cloud management. Well, less of a headache for sure.
So it's kind of like a universal remote for your cloud. You can
Right.
control everything from one place. That sounds slick, I'll give you that. But is it actually user-friendly? I mean, cloud management has a reputation for being, well, kind of complex.
You're right, it can be. But that's actually where Astro Platform really stands out. Even if you're not, a total tech expert, they've built in these really intuitive interfaces and a ton of automation to minimize the need for, like, all that manual work. It's designed to be approachable, even for folks who aren't Kubernetes gurus.
Right, that's a relief. But what about the cost? I'm guessing a platform like this doesn't come cheap.
Actually, cost effectiveness is one of Astro Platform's big selling points. They designed it to optimize how you allocate your resources so you're not wasting money on, stuff you're not even using. Plus, they have totally transparent pricing, so no nasty surprises there.
Okay, so we've got power and affordability. But what about flexibility? What if I'm already stuck with a different cloud provider? Can Astro Platform help me move over without, complete meltdown?
Absolutely. Astro Platform's designed to make switching between cloud providers pretty painless. It's a huge win for businesses because it means you're not, chained to one vendor, right? You can choose the best environment for your apps without worrying about a super complicated migration process.
That's a huge weight off the shoulders of anyone facing a cloud migration, that's for sure. But with all this talk about data breaches these days, security's gotta be a top priority.
Absolutely. And Astro Platform takes security very seriously. They've integrated all these robust cloud-native technologies and security protocols to make sure your applications are running safely and reliably.
Okay, so we've got security, flexibility, it's cost-effective, easy to use. It almost sounds too good to be true. Can we get a little more specific? How does Astro Platform actually streamline those deployments and make cluster management less of a headache?
Sure. Let's start with deployments, okay? Astro Platform offers several approaches, and each one has its own strengths. You can use YAML or Helm charts. Those are pretty familiar tools for managing Kubernetes deployments, right?
Right. But you mentioned something called application resource abstraction before. What's that all about?
Right, so Astro Platform goes beyond just YAML and Helm. Think of application resource abstraction as like a higher level way to define and manage your applications. It's about simplifying things, You basically declare what you want to deploy.
Yeah.
And then Astro Platform handles all those nitty-gritty details underneath.
Okay, so it's an abstraction layer, right? It hides some of that complexity of Kubernetes deployments, and that lets developers focus on building great applications.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the cool part. It helps you manage deployments consistently across all these different environments, Kubernetes clusters, serverless platforms, even hybrid environments.
So you're kind of future-proofing your deployments as the technology landscape keeps changing. Smart move. But let's not forget about managing those Kubernetes clusters themselves. How does Astro Platform make that easier?
Well, it starts with their own cluster abstraction. It provides a simplified way to interact with Kubernetes clusters. Hide some of that complexity,
So I don't need to be a Kubernetes whiz to manage a cluster effectively.
Exactly. They've made cluster management a lot more accessible without losing the power and flexibility of Kubernetes.
That's a pretty good balance to strike. But you hinted at something else before about maybe incorporating serverless computing into their cluster abstraction in the future.
Yeah, serverless computing is definitely gaining traction these days. And Astro Platform's thinking ahead. By potentially integrating serverless technologies into their cluster abstraction, they're making sure the platform stays up to date as the cloud evolves.
So even if my organization isn't on board with serverless yet, Astro Platform's ready for when we are. That's a big deal for like long-term planning.
Definitely. It's a forward-thinking approach that takes away some of the risk of adopting a new platform. But for now, let's talk about how Astro Platform makes Kubernetes cluster management easier right now in the present.
Okay, sounds good. I know you mentioned a command line tool called Astro tool, I think it was. What's the deal with that?
Astrical. It's like a Swiss Army knife for managing deployments and clusters. For cluster management specifically, it gives you this single unified view of all your deployments, even across different clusters and cloud providers.
So no more switching between a million different tools and dashboards.
Exactly. With Astrocroll, you can monitor logs, events, application statuses, all that good stuff. You can even grab kubeconfig files so you can use kubectl directly.
Hold on. For those of us who aren't, Kubernetes masters, could you remind us what kubectl is all about?
Sure, you're probably already familiar with it. Kubectl. It's the command line tool for interacting with Kubernetes clusters. Really powerful, but it can be a bit of a pain to set up and use.
So Astro Platform is making it easier to use kubectl by taking care of some of that behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And it can be a lifesaver when you need to troubleshoot something quickly. We've got a case study, actually, where a client used this feature to fix a really critical deployment problem in just a few minutes. Think about all the time and stress that saved them.
That's impressive. I'll give you that. But what if I'm already using another Kubernetes management tool? Or what if I have, super strict security requirements and need to manage my own cluster? Does Astro Platform force me to change my whole setup?
No, not at all. They've thought about that for sure. They had this option called Bring Your Own Account or Cluster. So you can actually integrate Astro Platform with your existing Kubernetes setup. You keep total control over your account, cluster, and all the security rules.
Okay, so it's flexible enough to work with what I've already got. But let's be real for a second. One of the biggest concerns with moving to the cloud is the cost. How does Astro Platform deal with that?
Well, this is where things get really interesting. They're taking cost optimization to a whole new level with AI.
AI for cost optimization. Now you've got my attention. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so these AI agents in Astro Platform, they're all about tackling those financial burdens that come with, traditional cloud management. Think about all those classic problems: over-provisioning resources, underutilization, all those manual tasks that eat up so much time. And then there's those security risks that could lead to a really, really expensive breach.
So it's like AI is stepping in as the financial advisor for your cloud infrastructure, like having a whole team of experts constantly analyzing your setup and looking for ways to save you money. This is fascinating stuff. Tell me more about these AI agents. How do they actually work?
Well, Astro Platform's AI agents, they're all about making your cloud spending smarter. And they're not just throwing out random suggestions. They analyze your usage patterns, really dig into the data. And then they give you actionable insights so you can optimize your cloud budget effectively.
Okay, so it's not just blind automation. It's about giving me the information I need to make the best decisions for my organization. That makes sense. But how do I know these AI agents are actually making smart recommendations?
Good question. Transparency is key, and Astro Platform gets that. You're not just blindly following AI suggestions. You get clear explanations of the reasoning behind each recommendation, so you understand what's going on. It's about empowering you to make informed decisions, not just handing over control completely.
Okay, I like that. A collaboration between human intelligence and AI, that's a good balance. But let's talk about the bottom line here. Can you give me some real-world examples of how these AI agents actually translate into cost savings?
Sure. Let's take over-provisioning, for example. A lot of companies, they allocate way more resources than they actually need just to be safe. It's understandable. but it ends up wasting a lot of money.
Hmm.
Astro Platform's AI agents can spot those instances of over-provisioning and suggest adjustments to right-size your resources.
So it's like having an AI auditor going through your cloud bills and highlighting all those areas where you could be saving money.
Exactly. And it's not just about over-provisioning. These AI agents can also find resources that are being underutilized, just sitting there idle.
Ah, yeah, another classic cloud cost trap. What happens then?
Well, the AI can recommend scaling those resources down or even shutting them down completely if they're not needed. That frees up budget for other things, other priorities.
It's like having a whole team dedicated to constantly optimizing your cloud spending, making sure you're getting the most bang for your buck. I can definitely see how that could lead to some serious savings, especially for, bigger organizations with large cloud deployments. But do you have any actual, like, real world
Sure.
examples?
Remember that mid-sized enterprise we talked about before? The one spending $1 million a year on their cloud infrastructure? Just by optimizing their resources, they were able to save up to $320,000 per year.
Wow, $320,000 just from optimizing resources. That's incredible. It really shows the potential for saving money when you have AI helping you identify and eliminate those, cloud inefficiencies.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. And that's just one example. There are other areas where Astro Platform's AI can help cut costs too.
Oh, yeah. Like what all?
Well, security's a big one. Data breaches, they can be incredibly costly, and Astro Platform's AI agents can help reduce those risks by proactively identifying and mitigating potential security threats.
So it's not just about reacting to security issues after they happen. It's about getting ahead of them and preventing those costly breaches in the first place. I really like that proactive approach.
It's all about shifting from reactive to proactive security, absolutely. And that's not all. We also have to consider those operational efficiency savings as well.
Operational efficiency savings. How does AI help with that?
Well, by automating tasks, streamlining workflows, and optimizing how you use your resources. Think about all the time and effort your team spends just managing your cloud infrastructure. Astro Platform's AI agents can take on a lot of that heavy lifting.
So my team can focus on those higher level tasks, those strategic projects, instead of getting bogged down in all that routine management stuff.
Exactly. It's about empowering your team to work smarter, not harder, right? And that translates into real cost savings because you're reducing your operational overhead.
This is all very impressive, I gotta say. Astro Platform seems to be really pushing the boundaries of what's possible in cloud management, especially with this AI integration.
Yeah, they're definitely doing some innovative things. It's a platform that's both powerful and user-friendly, and it's constantly evolving to meet the needs of businesses operating in the cloud.
Okay, so we've covered a lot here. Deployments, cluster management, cost optimization with AI. Before we wrap up this part, what are some key takeaways our listeners should keep in mind?
Well, Astro Platform offers a really comprehensive and innovative approach to cloud management. It's about combining powerful features with an intuitive design to make the cloud more accessible and efficient for businesses of all sizes.
I like that. It's about taking the complexity out of the cloud and empowering businesses to make the most of their cloud investments.
Absolutely. And remember, it's not just about today's challenges. It's about being prepared for the future of the cloud. Keep those things in mind as we explore even more aspects of Astro Platform.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive into Astro Platform. We've spent the last two parts, really digging into the details of this platform, from the smart deployment options and simplified cluster management to its impressive AI-powered cost optimization.
Yeah, we've seen how Astro Platform is trying to make cloud migration and management smoother and more efficient, really empowering organizations to harness the power of the cloud.
Absolutely. But before we wrap things up, I think it's important to step back for a second and look at the bigger picture. Where does Astro Platform fit into this whole, landscape of cloud management solutions? What makes it stand out from the crowd?
That's a great question. I think what sets Astro Platform apart is its focus on, well, a few key things: simplicity, flexibility, and a future-proof approach.
Okay, we've talked a lot about simplicity, but can you elaborate a bit on what you mean by flexibility and a future-proof approach?
Sure. Flexibility means that Astro Platform can work with a bunch of different cloud providers, deployment tools, and existing infrastructure setups. We've already talked about how it supports multiple cloud providers, how it offers those different deployment options using YAML, Helm charts, and its own application resource abstraction, and even how it lets you bring your own Kubernetes cluster. That adaptability is really crucial in the world of cloud technology because it's always changing, right?
So it's not about forcing you to do things a certain way. It's about giving you the tools and options to build a cloud solution that works for your organization, for your specific needs.
Exactly. And that ties directly into the future-proof approach idea. Astro Platform is designed to adapt to the evolving cloud landscape, embracing new technologies and trends as they come up. We can see this in its cluster abstraction, which is designed to potentially incorporate serverless computing in the future.
So it's not just a platform for today's problems. It's a platform that's built to grow and evolve with the cloud itself.
Exactly. It's a commitment to innovation and adaptability. And that's what makes Astro Platform so exciting, at least for me. It's not just about solving today's cloud challenges. It's about anticipating and addressing the challenges that are coming down the road.
Okay, I like that. It's a powerful vision for sure. But we've been focused a lot on, the technical and financial aspects of Astro Platform. What about the human element here? How does Astro Platform actually impact the people who are using it every day?
That's a really important point, and I think it often gets overlooked. Astro Platform is designed to make life easier for developers, operations teams, and anyone involved in managing that cloud infrastructure.
Hmm.
By simplifying complex tasks, automating those routine processes, and providing intuitive tools, Astro Platform frees up these teams to focus on, those more strategic and fulfilling parts of their work.
So it's not just about making the technology better, it's about improving the overall experience for the people actually using that technology.
Absolutely. It's about empowering teams to work more efficiently, collaboratively, and ultimately, more enjoyably.
Right. That really speaks to that whole trend of human-centered design in technology. It's not enough to just build powerful tools. They need to be enjoyable and empowering to use.
Couldn't agree more. And Astro Platform seems to be embracing that philosophy.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We've explored those key features of Astro Platform, its potential benefits, and how it fits into that larger cloud ecosystem. Any final thoughts for our listeners before we sign off?
Yeah, I'd just say that Astro Platform really does represent a new kind of cloud management solution, one that's focused on, like we've been talking about, simplicity, flexibility, and adaptability. It empowers organizations to really embrace the cloud with confidence, knowing they have the tools and the support they need to, navigate all those complexities,
Mm.
and ultimately to harness the full potential of this transformative technology.
Well said. And for those of you ready to start your own cloud journey, I definitely encourage you to check out Astro Platform. See how it can help you unlock the power of the cloud.
The future of cloud computing is bright, I'd say. And with these innovative platforms like Astro Platform leading the way, the possibilities are really limitless.
What a fantastic note to end on. Thank you all for joining us for this deep dive into Astro Platform. We hope you found it informative and insightful. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the cloud.